Okay, guys, I think I'm back in YouTube anyway. All right, thank you, Pepe. We have to figure that out. Why is this happening every time? No, when I say we, I don't mean you. Okay, guys, let's see. So I see that the Craig had a big pullback. It was a giant red bar down. So hopefully everybody took their profit and ran. Fly in the wall halted. So was halted. Yeah, I did see that it opened. The problem. Now I'm getting. When I was talking to Steve about 10 minutes ago, I wasn't getting a chart for Fly, but now I am. Well, let's see where it could open. Okay, so 72, there it is, 72. That's where it could open. Whereas Steve didn't. Pepe. You and I are in the same server. We know that. So I have a feeling it was a server thing, but because I kept resetting and the account kept resetting, didn't work. But anyway, now it is. So, c'est la vie. You know, guys, I was looking at Fig. So I see that yesterday it did briefly. That was the low. No, that low right there I was looking at. Didn't get it. $84, and it got down to, and it closed down here at 79. And but it opened today at 90. Oh, sorry, yesterday at 90. Now it's right back down. So I have to put a price low down here at 76. See if it really starts to give it up. Because this was crazy that it had that evaluation. And there are a lot of shares now available. Interactive Brokers, over a million, 1.12 million shares available now to short. Boy, all day, guys. PGY, all day, gap up and reversal play, all day. Look at it at 15, hardly any blips up. Just one, two blue bars that you can see. Well, let's take a look at Fly and Winner. Could open and yeah, well, now 73. We're gonna 73. So this will be opening at 106 plus 46 seconds if it is a 5 minute call. Again, blue screen, nothing to do with trade ideas. This is just time and sales from Interactive Brokers. When a stock is halted, it'll show the halt in red. And this column here is trying to show you where it could open. Yeah, I have 72.88 right now. Well, that's too bad. I was looking to short this. This is from Pepe Scan, SVGI, but it is, when I look left, there is some potential support around 12, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, fly open, and it opened at, not quite, whoop, it opened a little bit below, guys, a little bit below. Well, I tried to get some. Ah, I tried to get some, but it ran on me a little bit. And because it actually fit the bill of what I try to do when the stock comes out of a halt, it actually broke down a little bit below the halt price, and then it popped above it. But couldn't get it. I'm not going to chase it. I call it the combi. It's a combination scan. Okay, I call it the Pepe scan because he put it together. These were two individual scans. Okay, and if you go, one's called the abnormal option activity, and one is the 10-day daily breakout. And a long, 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 long time ago, I found that I had these two separate, and I found that if the same symbol was in both of these scans, it was would be very powerful. So Pepe found a way to combine the two scans, so we don't have to take a look at the scan and see. Okay, for instance, abnormal option activity was JMIA in both of them, this one and the 10-day daily breakout. This basically does the work for you. So if you want it, it's time to go to my homepage right now anyway. Okay, so just hold on, Jason, for a minute here. I just want to go over my homepage and I'll get to my scans. I'll do this fairly quickly, the first part. So guys, if you want to take out a subscription to Trade Ideas, we have a nice promo now, Mary 25. That'll get you 25% off the first month only or the entire year. Okay, all I ask, use my code, whatever the code is, helps to keep the room free. The company tracks the promo codes. You see my name used enough, or the app promo used enough to keep the room free. And Steve, you heard Steve in our YouTube room between 12 and 1. He's the originator of the trades of the week. You can sign up for it right here. It is free. You'll get it before the market opens every Monday morning. If you sign up for the trade of the week and you don't think you're getting it before you contact us, please check your spam folder. And if you have Gmail, check your promotions folder. If you don't see it there, then of course, contact us. Education is right here. And I'll let you go over this because if you're taking out a subscription to Trade Ideas, first thing mandatory, this is what you have to do, the getting started with Trade Ideas, some short videos just to get started. If you don't have Trade Ideas though, I would also take a look at this because you might be sitting out there wondering, I don't know about this Trade Ideas. I don't know if it's the right thing for me. Well, you can take a look at these videos. You don't have to look at the first one, and that might give you a bit of an idea as to whether or not you think this is a good fit for you, okay? Back to basics. If you're new to trading, a free series of videos for those of you who are new to trading. Okay, Jason, the moment you've been waiting for. If you click on my homepage link and you scroll down, middle section right here, my scans, and there it is, the combo scan. Okay, the combo scan right there. And these are the other, now I don't have this one up and running. I probably will not have this up and running anymore. I'm just going to do the change in 5 minutes or the most up or down in 5 minutes. This is the momentum scan. Here's the other one I really look at all day is the gap continuation or reversal scan right here. And the single stock window is down here. And the halts resumes. Halts resumes is right here. And this is what I use in the pre-market. The pre-market actives up and the pre-market actives down. That's what I use in the pre-market. A little busy. It's a little busy right now, Jason. The gap scan is awesome, but it's a little busy. And, but next week, okay, my computer's going to go a little crazy because I'm going to go to this website that always Give me a moment, okay? Just give me a moment. Okay, so next week we're going to have about a little over 400 stocks releasing earnings. That's still a lot. Don't get me wrong. But this week we had about 1,200, okay, maybe even 1,400. So, about a third of what we had this week, and it'll start to decline after next week, the following week. So what will happen is we will definitely not get as many alerts in here, which is fine. But I have to look at the TPC because that is actually CIB. I want to see CIB. Hmm. So this is a gap. A stock that gapped up and is reversing. Okay. That alert happened at 12:50. So at 12:50, that it saw that, but after since then it kind of popped up. But my idea is that then you basically just put a price alert. 46.29 was the actual alert, basically at the low of the day. So see if that takes it out again, because when you look left, of course, yesterday's low, 45. Now this stock is still up for the day. Spread is bad. I mean, it could move a dollar, but I just don't want to. 45.98, 46.38. That's the CIB. So we'll take the trade. All right. Well, you guys are still talking about fly. Yeah, I mean, look, if this gets back over this 70, 70 to 70, I mean, a little bit of it, okay? Because again, it's one of these stocks. It'll be interesting to see what it does tomorrow. Wow, I see GoGo. Of course, I'm not in it anymore, but boy, GoGo is now still approaching the that weekly high right down there. Look at that. In fact, it got there really right to the penny. 12.27 is the low, and the low is, I think it was 12.22. Yeah, 12.22. A nickel from that. I mean, if it takes that up, there's still room underneath. There's still over a dollar underneath. Well, that's my goal for tomorrow. Find another go-go. I saw Beyond Meat this morning. Beyond Meat is basically almost a penny stock now. Beyond Meat, I think, had earnings. And look at this, 277, 277. This is like trolling. Maintaining their coverage with Perform and target 280, 283. Who comes up with that target? Beyond Meat. This is quarterly revenue estimates. Continues to decline this quarter amid skepticism over taste, processing, and price. Hertz was actually up this morning. HTZ was an earnings play. Now this is a gap down and go. Still positive for the day, but big move in the pre-market up to 680. So it has dropped a dollar from that. Underneath the VWAP, shortable for me, 345,000 shares at Interactive Brokers. Hmm. Look at GoGo now, underneath that weekly high. It's funny. I mean, there's no way I could not get out of it when it did this, but you know what? This is never on the 5-minute chart anyway. That is not ever transitioned to blue. Take a look on a 2-minute because I think I like to use the 2-minute for the potential transitions. Yeah, you see right there, right there. But I mean, that's a giant red candle down now. I mean, could be obviously the first ones were bigger, but this is a pretty big candle down now. Definitely interested in the Hertz guys, the HTZ. The longer it holds under at 590, maybe gets down to about 581. I might take that short, and that's the HTZ. And why? Because all the room it's got underneath. I'm saying it's going to get there, of course, but this must be a low of this week somewhere. Yeah. So yesterday's low, still far enough away on a percentage basis. So wouldn't surprise me if this goes negative. Only 31 cents away. Yeah. Well, NRGV actually showed up on Pepe on the. Yeah. Well, it took out that high right there, that daily high somewhere. That was on the combo scan at 166. It's tough for things to show up on the combo scan, cheap ones, because it's got to be up at least 40 cents from the open. Okay. That's one of the 40 cents from the open. The relative volume has to be at least eight. So it's possible that until that happened, the relative volume was under 8. Gee, I wonder if I could use not the stocks like this or whatever it's called. Give me a moment, guys. I'm just gonna, attempt to do something here. No, give me a moment to do that. Made a mistake. What is the market doing? So the Dow is down quite a bit now, 332. The, little disconnect between the Qs and the Dow. The Qs are basically, flat. The, Dow is, down. So the big stocks, the so-called value stocks versus growth stocks. Okay, guys, I took the Hertz, okay? Took the Hertz short, HTZ, uh, 83. So let's see if it goes into the 70s at least. This is the first time it showed up was at 117. Okay, I can see right there. Yeah. So the relative volume at 12:48 plus 41 seconds was only 7.68. I was wondering, just checking to see why it wasn't showing up earlier, the NRGV, because the minimum has to be 8. So there it is. Volume was too low. So anything in red means it's not going to show up. Ooh, interesting. At the beginning of the day, there were no option trading, nothing. In fact, it would have looked like maybe, but look what happened at 9:43. All of a sudden, option volume exploded from 27 to 2,600 and higher. It's a cool little tool, I have to admit. All right, guys. What time is it now? 1:27. So I've got about an hour left. Good time to ask questions if you have any. I'm just going to kind of wait on this Hertz. I'm a little over where I shorted it right now. Oh, okay, Rick. So I just saw your post now. Well, let's see. First of all, I'll see whether or not we had it. Probably we did this morning. Okay. Our news is not great though if you're looking for more late breaking intraday news. But yeah, so I mean, there was the news this morning. You could have clicked on the news tab, knowing that it's an earnings play. So right there, okay. But typically, what I do is I use Interactive Brokers, because there's more news than just say when a company releases earnings. But this is what I use. This is my Interactive Brokers news feed. But in this particular case, we typically have the news when it's an earnings play. Okay, and you can see reports results for the quarter ending. You could have clicked on that and got the big exploded version. No, oh, you mean this news here? No, no, it's just part of. But look, it's not great. Okay, it used to be okay looking at news from previous days. That's why I was using it mainly previous days news. But I'm not finding it that good anymore for that. They have to revamp it. But I do notice that if a company does release earnings, you'll see it. So it is part. This is just part of Interactive Brokers, which is part of the Interactive Brokers. Oh, I see. Is it they're a paid service? No, no. This is part of the part of Interactive Brokers. Yeah, sorry. Now I understand the question. Part of Interactive Brokers. Just if you have it, IB, just go to File, search for File, and then New Window. And look, you'll scroll down a bit, and then you'll find News. When you hover over News, a box pops up. Hover over Newswire, another box pops up. Then you'll see company-specific news. That's all I do. And then, of course, I save my layout, my Interactive Brokers layout, so I don't have to do it every day. Yeah, and listen, I think it's pretty darn good for a so-called free service within IB. Oh, Sony get hit here. Also, a gap up in reverse for Sony. I'm sure it must be an earnings play. Yeah, you can see it's an earnings play, the yellow line. On my daily chart, it is an earnings play. Had earnings after hours yesterday. Here's the reaction today. Well, okay, it's getting hit. It's another gap up and reversal. But that for riding the wave once that transition from blue, which was the gap up, and then riding the wave, I wouldn't say it was, beautiful in terms of, no, you might have had a few anxious moments, but, it never turned color. It did not turn color from orange yet. Now, I heard Steve talk. I was hearing him talk towards the end in YouTube. So anybody still in YouTube, I don't know. He was talking about how he said he doesn't use the trade wave. Now, I know he uses he on a 15-minute card. He uses the 10 SMA. I find though, I really, really like using the wave just for visual, just for the visual of keeping me in a trade a lot longer than I ever used to. So it's not like I'm waiting for a buy flag or a sell flag. If I happen to be in a trade and I'm going to click on it and then I'm going to see the wave and I'm going to see, okay, is there any transition? Is it still like orange? Remember, is a weak trend, weak trend. So I use it like that because I know he was talking about it's great for new traders, perhaps, but even an old trader like me, I like the visual of this. So Pepe. So I listened to the video I did. I listened to the past videos that I've done, and everything is perfect as far as I'm concerned. It just is in the streaming, into the streaming, well, you're saying it's not any good in YouTube anymore, which is really bad. Just give me a moment, Rick. I'll show you, okay? So because I was literally thinking of going out and buying a mic this weekend, but if my videos are perfectly clear and it's still plugged into the same port that I'm doing so I'm doing my videos, the mic is plugged into that same port. So to me, it's a baffling one. Rick, okay. So before I keep going, Rick, I want to make sure you can hear me and see what I'm going to do in terms of the wave. I just need a yes, a couple of yeses to make sure you can hear me and see my screen as I'm going to demonstrate how you get the wave. Okay. So first thing you do, go to a chart. Okay, go to one of our trade ideas charts, and this is part of the standard service. Okay, so go to a chart. I'm on Sony right now. Doesn't matter what chart though. I right click on it. Now, when you right click on the chart, you should see use browser interface as one of the options. You're going to see something. You're going to see a window pop up, and use browser interface should be an option. Okay, so if it is, check it. If it is not already checked, check it. So I'll wait for you to have done that, or tell me that you've found it and then you've checked it. Okay. All I need now is another yes. See what I'm pointing at? Use browser interface. So again, just all you have to do is go to any chart, right click a chart, right click, and use browser interface should be an option. So okay, first of all, now are you in our using the downloadable application? I hope you're not using the web-based version, are you? You have a toolbar that looks like this: File, New, Tools, Window, Help, etc. Okay, good. So are you saying when you right click on a chart, you're not getting this big pop-up, or you're getting a pop-up, but you don't have an option that says use browser interface? I'm asking two questions. So do you get the pop-up? Remember, you right click, don't left click, right click on the chart. Right click on the chart, you should get this pop-up. Well, it doesn't have to look exactly. I'm on I don't even know what version I'm on anymore, but do you not have an option that says use browser interface? Ah, good point, Pepe. Use browser interface. You see that? Okay, click on it. If you see use browser interface, click on it. If it's not already checked, okay, just, yeah, okay. So I clicked on it, okay? Left clicked. I left clicked, okay? So I left clicked on it, and now you're in the browser interface. Now you may not have a cloud yet, but just, but the chart should have changed a little bit. You should probably have more options up here than you had before. Okay, perfect. Do you have the cloud formation though? The cloud meaning like I'm looking at Sony, this orange. Because if you don't, I'll show you how to get that. Okay, so in your version, you see what I'm pointing at? Can you see the heart I'm pointing at? All the little options up here. Oh, this is I'm on an older version now. You should have something that says FX right at the very top. Okay, can you see what I'm pointing at? Something that says FX. You have heart, you have the clock, you have FX as an option. See what I'm pointing at? FX. Okay, click on FX. Let's click on it, and you see when you get a little pop up, and one of the options is trade wave. Okay, so if you see the FX, okay, so click on it, left click on it, and then you're going to get a little pop up that says trade wave. One of them says one of the options is trade wave. When you click on it, you'll be in the wave. Okay, now I it's a toggle on and off, so that's why the wave disappeared. So if I click on FX again, left click on it, click on trade wave, and now the wave will come back. Okay, Rick, did that work? Just clicking on the FX, seeing that trade wave option, and then clicking on that, and then you should see, you know, oh, okay, perfect. Now, Rick, don't forget to save your work, okay? Save your layout, save your layout to the cloud, or at least to your computer, because any change you make, if you don't save it, then tomorrow, when you load trade ideas, this 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 change you've made will not be saved, and you have to do it for every chart that you want. I only do it for one chart. So in other words, you can't say, okay, universally do this for every chart. But you shouldn't have so many charts up and running. It's a good point, though, Pepe. There might be a setting, in this room. Maybe Now, how you use it, of course, is going to be up to you. Okay. Some people think that just because they get a buy flag or a sell flag, that you immediately take the trade. No, it's alerting you to something that might be changing, like the transition of, when I look at Sony, if all of a sudden, there's a pop up. Let me see if I can find. Look at the SPY on a 5-minute chart. You see earlier on, see earlier on, that the trend was up. This is more pre-market. Pre-market, the trend was up, and then all of a sudden the trend changed, and it transitioned to this orange. I mean, there was a little sell flag there, and in theory, you could still be in this trade, chopping around here. Let me see if it even changed. No, but you see, so if you had held on, then it's another leg down. So for a lot of people, if you wanted to just follow a few stocks, 2 or 3 stocks, or maybe even the SPY, you could just have them thumbnailed, put the trade wave on, and then watch those charts and see when you get a sell or a buy flag. Okay, and we found this worked incredibly well back in February, March, and April when the SPY was having 20 point swings during the day, sometimes even more, and the trend was almost like it was a beautiful trend one way or the other. But if, for instance, if you wanted to follow Microsoft or Apple or some stock you really like, you could just put the wave on it and check it to see, thumbnail it so it doesn't change when you're clicking on an alert. You don't want Apple, you don't want it to change. It's another thing I should point out. I mean, why doesn't my SPY chart change? Because the CYCC changes to these 3 timeframes because that's what I want. But I don't want the SPY chart to change. So how do I do that? If I right click, go to properties, so I right click, and you see where it says symbol linking. So I have it unchecked for the SPY chart. For the other 3 charts, I have it checked because that's what I want. I want symbol linking. See, I want symbol linking so that when I click on a symbol, it's going to change to the 3 timeframes. Well, Hertz, I thought maybe you'd take out 580, but it doesn't look like you're going to do it for me. Oh, hold on, it's about 5 cents above where I shorted it. So you can see this is, yeah. I mean, this looks. I mean, it's still orange, but this looks like a lot of attempts to get through 580. So it looks like this is holding it as support. We're trying to anyway. Gonna give it a little bit longer just because this is just a brief dip up, and then maybe I'll move down. No, you know, uh, Okay, took myself out of the Hertz short. Pardon my ignorance, Pepe, but if I stop the screen sharing, does that stop the streaming? Or do I have to shut down the whole room? Or what if I shut down the audio also? What if I just, shut both of these down? Does that effectively stop the streaming? All right. Okay, guys, I'm gonna do a little. Oh, maybe just the audio, not. Okay, guys, in the main room, I did a little experiment. Okay, I'm gonna stop the screen sharing. I'm gonna stop the audio. I will come back. I want to see if in YouTube, if this is truly the culprit. So I'm gonna stop this. Also, yeah. So I'm stopping the screen sharing. All right, guys in YouTube, Pepe, what what's the result? And I'll talk for a little bit. MATV, MATV. Is there a difference? If that, I hope so. No, I know you can hear me, but we're trying to come to the trying to figure out the audio seems can be kind of scratchy. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it depends on what system you're listening to me on. So I want to ask Pepe, how do I sound? And if okay. Now, when you say clearer though, I mean perfect clear or no, not bad clear or so Rick, before was it loud and clear or was it is it better now? So guys in YouTube, what I'm trying to find out is this audio better in the last minute that it was say, but for you, was it this is it the same Rick as before? Or is it different? Is it better? Would I short NBIS? Okay, I'm gonna keep talking, okay? I'm just gonna keep talking. I'm gonna let would I short NBIS? Well, if I were going to short NBIS, so it is the same for you, okay? I wonder if who was that asked me? Vladimir. Vladimir, are you still in the room, Vladimir? Okay, well, if okay, now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go back into the other room, okay? I'm going to start this streaming in the other room again. And now tell me if the sound degrades for you in YouTube. Should that have been it's not fading? Oh, good. Good. Okay. All right. I'm going to get back. Well, that's good then. I'm gonna have to harass Sebastian then. All right, I'm back in both rooms now, but it can fade. That's the problem. So anyway, getting back to your question about would I short NBIS? Next step is I'll completely get out of the room. Okay, at 2:30, and then I'll keep in YouTube. So so here is the VWAP. Okay, so if you're a bit of a VWAP player, I mean it's right at the VWAP. I probably wouldn't do anything. I probably wouldn't do anything one way or the other on NBIS unless it really takes out the VWAP. The VWAP is at 66.37. So I mean it's at 66.23 right now. So whoever asked, who asked, Mighty Mouse. So and if you can see my screen, you see that it's kind of hard. It's actually very flat. That purple line is the VWAP, and that can act as support or resistance, of course. So if it breaks down, but right now it's hard to know what it's going to do. Our VWAP does, but this okay. Our VWAP does take into account the pre-market, which I think is good. Okay, yeah. So excellent. So Rick, before would you have called it excellent? Because I'm striving for excellence. Good isn't good enough. So we do use pre-market. Okay, we do use pre-market, and I don't really have a problem with that, especially on some of these stocks that are trading a ton of volume in the pre-market. Okay, thank you, Rick. Okay, I'm going to hound Sebastian then, because why not use the pre-market for the VWAP? Now, I do notice though that the VWAP that you see here is sort is because there sometimes is a difference. It's 66.37, and the VWAP using pre-market is at 66.23. Not a huge difference. This one, I guess, doesn't use the pre-market, but I like the fact that it uses the pre-market. If a stock hasn't traded very much, it'll be it'll be almost similar to that number. But if a stock has traded like a lot of shares in the pre-market, why not have the VWAP? Because that's where a lot of shares have been trading. Make sense? Makes sense to me anyway, Mighty Mouse. So you've kind of got, if you want to call it, the best of both worlds. If you have our single stock window, the VWAP, that is kind of the number. That's the number without pre-market, and then this is the number with pre-market. Okay, I'm actually going to contact Sebastian right now. I don't know where he is. Sometimes he's in Europe, but I'm going to try to contact him because maybe he can come into the room. Problem is, if he listens to me and it sounds fine to him, but that's not the issue, right? There's something going on then. Okay, it's interesting too because that's when my machine is starting to get a little noisy. I don't know if it's a complete coincidence, but Give me a moment, guys. I'm just contacting the developer of this room. So really, it's just the audio that has to be stopped, not the screen sharing, because I have the screen sharing when I do my video. The screen sharing is still working. It's just the audio that. So it's really the audio. Of course, that makes sense. The mic. See, I'm learning on the fly. Well, he could, but I mean, if everything else is fine, anyway, we'll. What time is it now? 2:02. We'll deal with that. See what he says. Don't know where he is in the world. I know he has a home in Florida, but he also goes to Spain a lot, so I don't know where he is. He's usually very, very prompt at replying, though. Now, what do you think the ramifications would be if I just streamed to YouTube and that's it? Just force everybody from the room to go to YouTube. Hmm. I know there's about a 5-second delay, but you guys, I mean, would it really matter? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It would be a different vibe for sure. Anyway, let's see what he says. All right, guys. Let's see. I'm glad excuse me. Glad I got out of the hurts. Boy, great. It was a great trade on a percentage basis in early enough and taking advantage of these highs for Craig. But what a shellacking it's taken now. This could go negative. So I can sort of share my layout, Rick. But you can also just cherry pick what you want. But I do have a layout. It won't look exactly like this though, because I got in the layout that I'm going to share. It had another one of these what we call tree maps on a 2 minute. Okay, so you can take a look at it though. Okay, now before you load my layout, make sure you save your layout to the cloud. Anything you've done, if you've got a like, I think you asked somebody asked, maybe it might have been you, for or my momentum scan, or maybe it was my combo scan or something else. So if you've got any trade ideas windows on your screen right now, excuse me, number one, you can make a layout of them, but at the very least, right click on them, right click, save or share to cloud, save. Okay, before you load my layout, because you cannot have two layouts open at the same time. So just make sure you do that first. Really simple. You know, if you have my momentum scan up and running, right click, save or share to cloud, save. Now I know I've directed you to my homepage also, so you don't have to take my layout. You can take you can kind of pick and choose what you might like. Oops, that's wrong. Give me a moment. There were two links in there, so give me a moment. I'll just post the correct link through my homepage. So if you scroll down, again, here are my scans that I'm currently sharing. So you could just say, if you don't want my entire layout, you might already have the momentum scan. There it is. Ultra zooms is here. Actually, it's probably good for you to just load them individually, the ones you want, and then create a layout. So you have a layout kind of maybe with the charts you want, the timeframes you want, and then you save your layout. Good exercise for you to do that, perhaps. Again, this is not the layout, okay? This is just individual scans. The layout will have this one, the momentum. It'll have these two, the 5 and the 2, and it'll have the halts or zooms. It'll have this single stock window, and it'll have these 3 charts. But these 3 charts, they may not be the time frame you want, but, you can always change the time frame, or you could add charts or get rid of a chart. Okay, guys, let's see, it's 2:09 now, so, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put myself on mute. I'm still here till 2:30 anyway. If there's a question, I'll hop back on the mic. Okay, but otherwise, I'll just put myself on mute. Okay, so I'll put myself on mute, but I will hop back on the mic if there's a question. Geez, Pepe, maybe we better combine this scan with this one because look at UTI. UTI and UTI exactly the same alert: 1242, 2762, 2762. This is, of course, anything in brown is a potential short from that scan. Anything in yellow or brown here is a potential short. So taking that one step further, if we see the same stock here and here, so what you're seeing here, so many months, this is an alert window. I know it says M, but it's a this is an alert window. Okay, so an alert window, what is the difference between a top list? So is that your question? What is the difference between a top list window and an alert window? Is that actually your question? No. Okay. Well, this is a treat. Okay, this is a top list window. Okay, I'm just displaying it instead of grid format. Instead of grid format, I'm displaying it in what we call tree map format. Oh, I see. Okay. No, these are all alert windows. These are alert windows. It's a multi-strategy, but there are four strategies. There are 4 scans in here. These are just individual scans, individual alert windows, just put into one window. And so I was sort of jokingly saying, if the same symbol shows up here and also in this particular scan, be good to know. I mean, there's the UTI. I have no idea how many others would have shown up like that, but here's the UTI at 2762, 2762. These are 2 different scans. This scan combines abnormal option activity plus a 10-day daily breakout. Okay. That's why you don't get too many alerts over the course of the day. These are gaps, gap up and goes. These So everything you see here is available. Now, the Birdie plan, I guess, I call it the standard, okay? I'm not a big fan of the cutesiness, but anyway, it's part of the standard service, okay? So everything you see that I'm doing is part of the standard service. Every now and then I flash this, which is our AI, Holly, as we nicknamed it. This is part of the premium service or the Eagle service, I guess. That's the only thing. But everything else that I do all day long and display is typically just part of the what I call the standard service. Well, Dan's a big golfer, you see, so he decided to, at some point, he thought Dan is our CEO. That's why he's talking birdies and eagles. Arguably, this was the best trade of the day in terms of relaxation. This was a gap up and go. Look at it on a 15-minute chart. There's only one, two, three blues. Everything else is orange, keeping in the trend, keeping in the trend on the 5. That orange wave. Well, if you are looking to try us out, this is what I would do, student. I mean, I don't know how well you know our program. Okay, I just put in my homepage link. Now, I mean, if you've seen enough that you're willing to try us for a month, you can use this Barry 25. You'll get 25% off the first month only. Okay. But what you might want to do before you do that, and this 25% will be around for a while, maybe I don't I can't remember what the email said, but you might want to go to the education section on my homepage. I'm just clicking on the education section, and you might want to take a look at the getting started with trade ideas. Don't You don't have to look at the first one, but these look at this series of videos here. I think there may be 7 or 8 after the download. Don't look at the first one. The reason being is that this will give you an idea about what Trade Ideas is really all about, and that might help make up your mind whether or not you want to take out at least a monthly subscription. Monthly subscription is just it's not a contract. If you decide you don't like it within a month, you just tell us, and we won't keep this subscription going. So you can take a look at this first if you want, or if you're willing, to try it, for a month anyway. You can use this promo code. You get 25% off. It would be this one. Click on the monthly and the Birdie bundle. So you get 25% off that 127. It's the first month only, okay? And I had Sony up for a while just demonstrating the wave. I should have shorted it. Yeah, good one. I almost said something in my devouse and I caught myself. No, the AI does not look at individual stocks, okay? The AI kind of works like this. Well, not kind of. I don't know how many strategies we have anymore, but overnight there's an optimization procedure that looks at every strategy that we've got, and the ones that make the cut is an overnight function. The ones that make the cut, making the cut meaning having the proper win percentage and the profit factor, they make the cut. And so tomorrow, if you had the premium service, okay, if you had the premium service tomorrow, you loaded it before 9:40. The first alert does not come in till 9:40. This would be blank, and then you just wait for the alerts to happen. Okay, that's how the AI works. You cannot analyze a single stock. AI doesn't know what stocks are going to show up. It's almost like saying, what stocks tomorrow are going to show up in the momentum scan. We don't know. So it's the same thing here. We don't know what stocks are going to show up tomorrow in the AI. So, but it's a long-winded answer. To answer your question, though, you cannot plug something in and have it tell you. No, it's just that the 50 strategies, they go through a procedure, an optimization procedure overnight, and it picks the best ones to show the next day. Okay, it's got nothing to do with swing trading. It looks back over a 63-day period. What strategy? Which were the strategies that were working the best over a 63-day period, 3 months, with respect to profit factor and win percentage? And then they have to have a certain profit factor and win percentage combination. And if they have the right combination, then you'll see the strategies tomorrow. But they may not. But you may not get anything from those strategies. When I say that, because just because the strategies got optimized and they're prepared for the next day, it doesn't mean any stock will necessarily meet the requirements. Because it's looking back in time, okay? And obviously, it basically, imagine it would be like this in this momentum scan that I've got. I'm not going to do it because it goes through the AI goes through a back testing procedure called. Well, you can't do it here on a momentum scan, so let me break an individual window. So this is the theory behind it. So here's the backtest strategy. So that's what the AI does. And so what it does is it says, okay, if I took every single trade over the last 90 days that met the filter requirements, met all these filter requirements, like all these are right now, okay, what would happen if I took every single trade? What would the profit factor look like? What would the equity curve look like? This would be terrible. I'll tell you that right off the bat. I don't care. I just want to see the alerts. And so it does that. Now, if the equity curve looks pretty good, then it starts to maybe fine tune it, saying, well, what if we, took like, is there a better time period to take these trades? Is it 9:30 to 10, all times Eastern, 9:30 to 10:30, or is it better between 1 and 3? You don't want to cherry pick too much because if there's three trades between 1 and 3 and they all work, well, so that's a little too much. So it has to have some basis behind it, a certain number of trades. But that's the whole idea of what this AI does. And so you and I could never do this because what if it said, okay, what if it was between 1 and 5? What about 5 and 20? You know, making all sorts of changes, permutations and combinations of all of the different strategies. And then it comes up tomorrow with the strategies that made the cut. That's the theory behind it. Yeah, I don't draw any diagonal lines on the candlesticks on Mighty Mouse. I'm very, the only thing I've got the VWAP, my intraday charts. I have the VWAP. I have this, I have to admit, I don't really look at it that much, but it's a 34 EMA. But then the wave, okay, the cloud wave that can help me keep in a trade, until I see a transition. I were in this Sony, until I see a transition to blue. But orange means a weak trend. If it transitions to blue, that means maybe the trend is changing. So this is kind of visual for me. As I say, I should have taken that Sony short. I was demonstrating the wave using Sony. It was probably around 26.11. So there's about what 21 cents. And who knows how much further. Still positive for the day, okay? But this is a classic gap up and reverse. Only one more day of many, 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 many earnings plays. That's tomorrow. Next week we have about a third of the number that we had this week. No, I don't use a trail stop. The reason I don't is that I'm usually, and that's not to say, anybody, excuse me, who wants to use a trail stop, go right ahead. I don't, doesn't mean anybody should follow me. But I'm typically in no more than two trades at the same time. Okay, usually only one, but I'm rarely am I in more than two. So I like to. What you don't see is I have. If I'm in a trade, it's on a chart on my other monitor, and so I'm following it. And I just like to manage my exits on my own rather than have a trail stop. That's just me. Okay, been doing it like that for so long that I just like to manage everything rather than have something automatically take me out. No, so if you wanted to see Microsoft, so students, so the question is, can I choose any stock for the chart? Sure. All I do is I left click on the chart so the system knows I'm in this chart, and I just start typing. Okay. So I just typed in Microsoft. You mentioned Microsoft, and so now I don't. So it doesn't have to be in a scan for me to see the chart, and you can see there. So if you watch Microsoft early enough, you might have said, "Hmm, this is really interesting." As a potential short, and momentum equals yeah, Momo equals momentum. Yes. All right, guys. Well, it's getting close to, well, it's 2:28 now, so I'm probably going to take off in a bit unless there's no questions. Always hang around if there are questions. Yeah, you can come into the room as many times as you want. It's free, student, and you can kind of see what we do. This is pretty interesting. Well, I mean, the market has been drifting down, but since 11:53, This is a very active scanner. Since 11:53, there's been no stock that has met all the filter requirements and made a new high for the day. I mean, that's a little. That's about 2.5 hours ago, and this is a very active scanner. But you know what I did? I'm embarrassed. No, I thought I had accidentally unchecked it. No, it's still checked. That's a very active. So this is what the Holly interface looks like. Okay. So again, imagine tomorrow. See, the earliest is 9:40 for the first alert of the day. It doesn't have to be one at 9:40, but the earliest would be 9:40. So imagine tomorrow you open trade ideas, and as long as it's before 9:40, this will be blank. So what happens is you get a real-time alert. You'll have an alert price. You'll have a stop price, and how you trade it, if you trade it, will be up to you. Okay, but that's in essence what it looks like. And this is telling you the percentage gain, you know, if you're still in the trade. But you'll have an alert price and a stop. Those are the two important things. Obviously, these are real-time alerts, and then here's a stop. Again, you don't have to follow the stop if you don't want to. If you have a different idea of a stop, but that is the general idea of what happens. Well, you can try the wave. You can try the wave, Mighty Mouse. I mean, just to see if it helps you keep in trades longer. Have I tried to compete with Holly? I don't trade our AI that much, guys. I mean, I have my own. I mean, I'll look at it, of course. There could be things that I might want, but I don't. For me, this is more like a watch list. So it's when I get an alert, doesn't mean okay, take the trade immediately. Never, 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 never. I don't do that with my scans. I always want to check the chart. Just give me a moment, please. There isn't any student, okay? I mean, we shouldn't. Those are old references. We used to have three versions of the AI. When the AI started back in 2016, I think there was just what we call the Holy Grail. I mean, understand why it's called Holly. Everybody's looking for the Holy Grail of trading. Well, there isn't one, but we said, okay, we'll nickname it Holly. So that was the first sort of iteration, and then Holly Neo, which was then, was a more aggressive version of it. Okay, so there were, but really, I mean, I don't even know why. I don't know why I have this segment here. In fact, you know what? Get rid of it because it doesn't matter to me what it is. There. Just care about the alerts. I don't care what segment it comes from. Yeah, it's a moving average crosses. So this is the default, I guess. The fast EMA crossing the slow fast 8 EMA crossing the slow 9 EMA. Now yeah. So you can, and there's another one here, I think, at the top. I think this is the default. I don't really pay that much attention to it. Cloud 2 is what you want. Really? There it is, Cloud 2. Okay, there it is. Yeah. So Cloud 2 goes the fast EMA, the 5, crossing the slow EMA, the 12, on the 12 period. Okay. Does that mean I got the 1 also? Should I just uncheck that? don't know what difference it's going to make, really. So yeah, so the 512 EMA. So I never really see that, do I? I don't see that ever. Well, maybe I do, but maybe my eyes can't distinguish it. So that's what it basically. So that's basically what it's all about, Mighty Mouse. And for me, it's just a nice way to keep into a trade visually. And it doesn't mean I'm going to keep into my entire position. For instance, I mean, if this were orange, say the Craig, if it were still orange, but there was a blue bar that maybe poked its head above, even though it was still orange, I would almost for sure take some off. But what this allows me to do, if I take some off, I'm just using this as an example. It allows me to keep in the balance of my position. I guess so. I guess so. We actually have a channel on it. We call it the trade wave. It looks like a wave. Ride the wave. Surfing action. Ride that wave. Yeah, we have the channel called Ripster. It's his. I guess he developed it, or I mean, I don't know if the right word is developed, but we have the Ripster channel, and if you click on that channel, and my computer's going to go crazy. There's a video about it. Okay, there's a video about it. Okay, and then these are scans that are automatically created. I don't use them. I just because I want to see the stocks I want to follow. I don't know. I know nothing about the guy. All I know is that this, what this is based on. And since we introduced this, I don't know how many months ago, maybe a year ago. I like it. I just like the visual presentation of it. That's all. Yeah, I mean, again, I wouldn't. It's a guide. It's just a guide, Mighty Mouse. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't. For instance, if I'm trying to, you know, it's a bad example because, well, actually, the better example would be the Craig. If you're into one of these really low floaters, you can get some wild action within the wave. Okay, which can be pretty jarring. Right now, though, I'm looking at this 15-minute chart. That's awesome. I mean, straight down. But sometimes, if you're in one of these really volatile stocks, you can get something piercing up, and you don't know what's going to happen after that. I would be taking some profit, even though it has not transitioned. Again, I'm not talking about this specifically, but imagine if, with Craig right there, CREG right there, all of a sudden you had a big blue candle that pierced the top. And yes, the orange has not turned to blue, but you've got to have some idea that when a volatile stock like this, I don't want to. I've made some money on the way down. I don't want to give it all back. So that's why what I like to do. It's a lot easier on these higher float stocks to keep in. I think they're not quite as volatile. So Pepe, I'm gonna shut down the main room now, guys. Okay, I'm gonna stick around in YouTube. Let's just make sure. Okay, I'm gonna stick around in YouTube for a while. Want to hear you guys give me some feedback on the audio. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop YouTube, guys. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. So again, I'll open the room tomorrow at around 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Give me a moment, YouTubers. I just have to do a couple things to shut down the other room. All right. So now I'm just in YouTube. So I'll let you guys tell me if number one, if the sound got better. Some of you are going to say maybe it's the same, but if the sound got better, then and I'll hang around. I want to make sure it doesn't degrade. Well, I would, yeah, exactly. I was just using Craig as an example of something that might be harder to hold on to, even if though in this particular case, it really didn't break out onto the top of the upper end of the wave in this particular case with Craig. But yeah, NBIS more than likely. Yeah, but you look at this. I mean, NBIS is you can argue that this is a little more erratic, at a big drop. What you really want to see, I mean, the ideal is sort of narrow candles all the way down. Okay, even if you're in the trade and you're short and you see a big giant, I mean, it looks good, but it can knock people out. Some people might say, "Okay, I'm taking profit." When I say knock people out, I mean people might say, "Okay, wow, that's a big drop. I better take some profit." It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to hold on when the candles are fairly narrow and just riding it down. Sound is the same. Well, Pepe will be my okay. Same good, same bad, same. Here's another one riding the wave down. Okay, okay. I just muted. I just muted and unmuted. Well, that's going to happen. Yeah. You see, unfortunately, I'm not like on the radio where a DJ can just hold his mouth directly at the same distance from the mic. I've got two other monitors, and I'm sort of, I did the best I can, but I do have to turn my head every now and then. And The student, yeah, so they're they're long and short, okay? It's not always long or it could be usually there's a mix during the day. So the question was for the AI, are they all long, always long, or sometimes short? There's always a mix, usually a mix. Depends, of course, if a short, how many short strategies made the cut versus how many long strategies made the cut. And as far as, the price range, I mean, we had one, I think the lowest price today was that one, the Craig at 210. The highest price we had today was a $72 stock. So it's all over. Okay. There's no there's no hard and fast rule when it comes to that. And we don't trade options, so we just trade stocks. The program only scans for stocks. It doesn't scan for options. What do you think, Pepe? Is this a big enough sample size now? Yeah, if I had to listen to muddy audio all day, I wouldn't do it. Okay. So the problem is maybe, in that other room, streaming in that other room at the same time with YouTube. But is it crystal clear, Pepe? Is it like as good as you think it should be? It's not crystal clear. Okay. Well, that defeats. Well, isn't that interesting? So, Rick, why don't you swap computers with Pepe? How can that be, Pepe? How can somebody say the sound is excellent unless their bar is so low? Is very low. I don't know. Why I lean on Pepe, guys, is that Pepe is an IT expert, so he doesn't work for Trade Ideas, but he's been invaluable to me over the years. Well, I haven't got a response yet from Sebastian. My guess is he's probably in Europe, so I'll see overnight though. You see, I listen to myself when I do my video, and I play it back, and I think it sounds, fine. I could listen to that all day. Okay, I think that's it though. Okay, guys, I've got a few things I've got to do, so thanks for putting up with this. It's a technical aspect of my mic. So for you guys, I usually open the room for you guys in YouTube at around 8:30, 8:30 to 20 to 9, and then I get on the mic at around 9. So have a great evening, everybody. I'm going to end the stream right now.